When you're finished with your thumbnail sketches, it'll be time to carve and print your design. First, make sure that you've taken your piece of tracing paper and you've used a 6B pencil to trace your design. It's important that you have some nice thick lines, not very thin lines, because they'll be too hard to carve around. The next thing you want to do is take your piece of tracing paper, place it so that the graphite pencil side is down on your printing block, and then use your pencil to transfer the graphite pencil to the printing block. Once you've transferred the graphite pencil to the printing block, it'll be time to carve. The carving tool has two blades that are located in the handle. You want to pull both of the blades out, and you'll notice that one has a V shape and one has a more of a U gouge shape. You want to start by placing the V-shaped or the number 2 blade into the carving tool. You just need to loosen the handle at the top, and then you want to place the carving blade inside and then retighten the handle. You're going to be carving out everything that is white in your design, not what is black in your design. So I'm starting with my smaller blade, which is the number 2 V blade, and I'm first tracing the contours, the edges of my area that I want to carve out. That way I'll have nice clean edges. So notice that I'm not carving out the black part, I'm carving out the white part. I'm also trying to keep my hand out of the way. You want to make sure that your hand is not in the way of the blade. These blades are sharp and they will cut you. Once you've traced around the contours or the edges of the area that you're going to be carving out, you can transfer to the larger blade to carve out larger areas. That'll make it a little bit quicker to carve out your design. So you're going to continue this process until you've carved out all the white areas of your design. You do not have to carve very deep when you're carving. You just want to carve deep enough that your design is sticking up a little bit in relief. Once I've carved all the white areas out of my design, I will need to get rid of my scraps. Please throw them in the trash can, and then I'll be ready to print. You'll have to come back up to the front and get a printing packet from me. Inside the printing packet, you're going to get your handout, a printing tray, a brayer, a burnisher, and a palette knife. You want to put just enough ink on the middle of the tray, about the size of a grape, no larger than the size of a grape. You don't need that much ink. Then you're going to use your palette knife just to spread the ink a little bit around so you can evenly get it onto your brayer, and then wipe the extra ink off onto a paper towel. Next, take your brayer and you want to evenly distribute that ink. So notice how I'm picking the brayer up and I'm rolling it until I have a nice, even, thin layer of ink on my brayer. You don't want it all goopy. It should be a nice, thin layer that's going to evenly ink your printing plate. Next, I'm going to ink my printing plate, making sure that I ink the entire plate evenly. And now I'm ready to print. Try to think about how your print is going to look when you put all 4 of them together. Notice how I'm lining it up on the inside edges of my square. After you get it down, you need to carefully turn your paper over and then use your burnishing tool to press the ink into the paper. So I'm just rubbing the burnishing tool onto the paper, and that's going to help me get a good transfer of the ink. Then I'm going to carefully flip my paper back over, and I'm going to remove my printing block to see my print below. I'm going to repeat this process for the other 3 prints. Again, you want to think about how your prints are going to look when they're all put together. Before you print, you need to re-ink your printing block each time. Apply a new thin layer of ink onto the printing block, and then you will repeat that process until you have your other 3 prints. Each time I am lining it up in the center I am then going to carefully flip my paper over and I'm going to burnish. Again, reapplying ink. Lining it up in the center. Carefully turning it over and burnishing. For my last print, I'll do the same thing, reapply my ink. Finally, again, lining it up into the center, carefully flipping it over, and burnishing. When you're finished, you will need to wash and dry all of your supplies. Bring me back this printmaking supplies. Make sure that you fill out your rubric and turn your project in on Canvas, and also your print up at the front of the room.